A boy in a yellow jacket stumbles, bleeding and terrified, sprinting through dense woods. He collapses to his knees, sobbing in despair. This harrowing opening ties to a decades-old mystery. Many years earlier, that boy, Giulio Sarpi, lost his sister to the creature that now stalks 5 teens. When their bus takes a dark tunnel shortcut, 5 teenagers, Nolan, Bess, Reggie, Queenie, and Carl, are piled in a school bus for what's supposed to be an ordinary field trip, driven by their calm driver Joseph. Carl teases Queenie, Nolan shoots shy glances at Bess. Reggie slouches in the back, scowling, clearly irritated with everything. To pass long stretches of road, Joseph challenges them with a riddle, 7 letters, describing a virtue they all need. Not long after, the bus comes to a stop. A massive fallen tree blocks their path. Joseph debates whether to wait or take a different road. Ultimately, he turns the bus off the beaten track, unaware this detour will lead into danger. Further up the road, Joseph stops the bus and steps out into the forest to drag a dead deer off the path, unsure what else might be lurking in the undergrowth. When he returns to the bus, he's suddenly confronted at gunpoint by escaped convict Pedro Minghella, whose face Carl recognizes from the news. Pedro takes over the vehicle, coldly ordering everyone to obey him. He demands Joseph drive wherever he wants and, to ensure no one can call for help, forces all the students to toss their phones out the windows. Tension spikes inside the bus. The teens realize they're now at the mercy of an armed man, with no way of reaching out for aid. Joseph drives the bus later into the evening until they enter a tunnel where the bus inexplicably breaks down. Pedro forces Joseph to attempt to fix it by holding Queenie hostage. The lights in the tunnel suddenly go out, leaving everything in pitch-black darkness, save for the bus headlights illuminating an odd shape in the road which Pedro forces Joseph to inspect. Once he gets close enough, the thing reveals itself to be a monstrous creature that rises and kills Joseph, to the horror of the teens. To make matters worse, he had the keys on him. Pedro chooses Carl to go and retrieve them, but Nolan insists he go. Bess suddenly exits the bus to go out and retrieve the keys. She succeeds and makes it back to the bus safely, where Pedro forces Reggie to try and start the bus with a gun to his head, but it will not budge, and after a struggle Pedro goes outside to try and kill the beast, only for it to sneak up on him and rip his head off. The monster, which looks like a giant bug with sharp teeth and long hair, rips out the wiring on the bus and hops on board, but the teens manage to escape. The remaining teens put some ground between themselves and the creature, but they're trapped in the tunnel without a clear exit. They soon realize the monster is sensitive to light, only brightness seems to drive it back. Nolan and Bess decide to leave the others behind and search for the tunnel's main generator to restore light. On their way, they discover disturbing evidence, old journals, photographs, and obsessive drawings from someone who had been studying the creature, perhaps even trying to destroy it. Meanwhile, Queenie asks Reggie to accompany her out of the bus to relieve herself. When Reggie turns away, the creature strikes, seizing Queenie. Carl joins Reggie. They find Queenie bleeding. The creature latched into her neck. With torches found in the tunnel, they desperately fight off the creature and pull her away before the wound becomes fatal. The monster then snatches Reggie, dragging him into darkness. Just as things seem hopeless, Nolan and Bess reach the generator and flip the switches. Lights blaze back to life through the tunnel. Blinded by brightness, the creature recoils, giving the teens the chance to rescue Reggie and force the creature into retreat. After Nolan and Bess catch up with Reggie, Carla and Queenie share all the horrifying evidence they uncovered. It belonged to Giulio Sarpi, the same man who back in 1971 lost his younger sister Isabella to the creature. He was the boy in the yellow jacket at the film's opening. Giulio spent some 40 years studying the monster, gathering journals, drawings, and plans of how to kill it. Yet ultimately Giulio himself was overpowered and killed by the beast. The teens discover his corpse in a hidden corner of the tunnel. Feeling the weight of Giulio's failure and determination, they resolve, this moment, they will finish what Giulio couldn't. They quickly devise a plan. Bess and Queenie act as bait, luring the creature toward them until they reach the tunnel exit, now bathed in daylight. The boys rush forward, torches in hand, to trap the creature. Surrounded and with no escape route, it is set ablaze. It rises with its screeches echoing until it collapses, seemingly dead. Thinking they actually killed the creature, the teens walk together into town, shaken but bonded closer than ever. The voice-over narration reveals that they finally solved Joseph's riddle. The 7-letter virtue was courage, the one that carried them through chaos, fear, and destruction. After escaping the tunnel, they sought out help, In the days that follow, they're seen hanging out, sharing quiet moments, visibly closer than before, healed a little by friendship, but still bearing the trauma of what happened. Authorities later arrive at the tunnel. Investigating the teen's harrowing story, one detective enters holding a flashlight. Stepping into the darkness, suddenly, the light flickers and goes out. He freezes, hearing rattling, scraping noises from somewhere behind him, the creature moving, and then it appears, silently, looming behind the detective.